Welcome to Cooking with Suze! Today we are going to learn how to cook homemade biscuits from scratch. Are you ready? Okay, so the very first important thing in this journey is your bowl. Your bowl has to be your bowl. It's the bowl you will use every time that you make biscuits from scratch. Alright, this is my bowl. If anybody breaks into my house and steals my bowl, we're going to have an issue. Next, I am a product snob when it comes to biscuits. So, I have white lily self-rising flour. Love, love, love. Used it for centuries. I don't think it was around for centuries, but hey, I've been reincarnated. So, alright, then you have your sifter. This is the 3-cup, but I fill it to the brim, so I have no idea how much that is. You just fill it. And then you sift. Technically, it's probably not a requirement to sift your flour anymore because it is so fine, but hey, this is how Mother taught me, this is how we're going to do it. Alright, okay, and you just sift, 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 until you're done. Your little sifter is empty. There are those few little ones in there that you don't want in your biscuits. So there they go. Alright, now you've got your flour. Shake it around till it's nice and smooth. Then comes my second product, which is Crisco shortening. Okay, this is very important, and to measure out your shortening, you must have hands the same size as mine. Alright, then you dip your hand into the shortening and you put it up as so. Alright, that's probably not quite enough, so we're going to do a little bit more. I'm not even British. I don't even know how to talk that way. So here we go, and then we're going to put that into, we're going to make, come in my dear and let me show them. We're going to make a little hole in the middle of the bowl and put the shortening in. Alright, there we go. Alright, then the third ingredient I'm not as much of a snob about. However, there are a few requirements. So it has to be buttermilk, not goat milk, not sweet milk, none of that. It has to be buttermilk biscuits, all right? So it could be fat-free. Reduced fat is probably the best. You could go with the loaded buttermilk, but it's not a requirement, okay? Mayfield is an awesome brand, very creamy to do, so make sure you shake your buttermilk before you use it. Normally, I just start pouring and pouring and pouring until it feels right to go with my little nest egg here, but today, for the sake of measuring, I did measure out and we're going to go with 1 3/4 cups. Got it? Shake your head if you've got it. Yes, good job. All right, here we go. So, you start, and you may have to come in at some points, my dear. You have to start and you have to pour some buttermilk in, and you start working your shortening into your flour. So that's, you want to start working it around in here. Just squeeze the fingers. Yes, squeeze the fingers. You want to get into that shortening, making sure that it gets into the flour. And you're just going to have to do this for a few minutes. So you're just going to have to listen to me talk over and over again, because you want to start to feel the shortening turning into less big chunks, smaller and smaller chunks as you're working around in your flour, all right? So then you need a little more flour, so you start to pull a little more flour into your mixture. Then you're going to have to start with a little more buttermilk. Yes, so that's fun. And then you start to wiggle a little bit more. You're going around and around. You're pulling your flour in. You're still lumpy and clumpy. Just keep going. Just keep going. You're pulling from all sides. Getting your flour in. Yes, again, you just kind of keep going until it feels right. And then when it feels right, you do it again. So here we go. We're going to add some more. And you don't always need all your buttermilk. So you just kind of have to go based on how you feel like it's going. So what we're going to try to come out with, and it's not a perfect science, is 12 biscuits in this beautiful medium Pampered Chef bar pan. Yes, I'm doing a plug for brands today. And if you need a Pampered Chef consultant, I can hook you up. If you need 31, I can definitely hook you up. And here we go. So we're going to go round and around. It's getting a little more tricky because I'm having a little less flour, so I don't want my shortening, you know, my mixture concoction getting all out of my bowl, out of my flour. So squishing and squishing. I need some more flour in here though. Gotta get a little more flour going. May not use all my buttermilk. Let's see. Am I going to do it or not? I do want quite a few biscuits though. So I don't know, it's feeling pretty good. Let's just do a tad more. We're not going to use, so let's go back and say 1.5 cups instead of 1 3/4 cups. All right, I'm going to do that. All right, so I'm getting my flour, going around and around. Just dance with it. Dance with it. Just do it one direction, and then you go. You know, you're going like this with your fingers. It's so fun. Yes. All right. Let's see. Almost ready to do the next step. All right, let's see. Okay, I think that's about good. You can see that it's kind of worked itself up into a ball. Not near as clumpy as we were at one time. Still a few little bumps in the road, but that's okay. We're all right with a few little bumps here and there. All right, so you want you be able to remove your hand and the dough look about like this. This is important. If you remove your hand and the stuff just falls, it's not good. It's not ready yet, all right? So what I do is this is something I used to watch my mother do this. You get the goop off your fingers, just like that. You get the goop off, all right? Then you pull your flour back over to you. You take and you just start sprinkling. As you can see, it's a nice little sprinkle. A little extra here. Yes. Okay. All right. So now this is very important. This is where you need I think that's what you call it, the dough. So I just take my hand and I get it under my little ball of stuff, and then I start to flip it. The flipping is very important. So as I'm flipping, I am turning my bowl. All right, so we've got to flip and turn, flip and turn. That's what we're doing. We are flipping and we are turning. And I'm pulling flour into my ball as I'm flipping and turning. So that's very important. So you can tell I am starting to be able to pull bigger chunks of my ball into my flip. See, it's becoming more of half a flip, half a flip, half a flip, half a flip. Do you see the difference? It's very important to see the difference from the beginning to now. So we're almost done. Almost. Maybe 1 or 2 more. All right. My ball is looking good. All right, okay. So then the test is going to be, can I flip the ball? All right, so we're going to flip my ball. We're going to flip it. Oh, it flipped. Yes, we're good. Now I'm going to wash my hands because I do not want to be making my biscuits to put them in the pan with sticky dough on my fingers because it will not do it properly. So let me get some soap, and I want to do a good job getting this off. You know, there's nothing worse than having flour on you. So we're going to get that off right now. I'm going to go back, get a little kitchen towel. Oh my, here we go. Kitchen towel. Yes, if you do a little soap, nothing's better than a little lemon bath and body soap in the kitchen. Yes, here we go. All right, might want to have a Norwex cloth. I've got one of those too. All right, so if you direct sellers out there, I hope you enjoy this commercial for yourself, so info commercial. All right, so now we're getting down to the why. Oh, by the way, you should have started by putting your oven on 450, okay? 450 is the proper temperature for my biscuits. All right, so now I'm going to take the flour and I'm going to put it on my hands like so. All right, then I'm going to pinch a corner and I'm going to wiggle it around. This one's actually a little bit small, and I'm going to just plop it in my Pampered Chef pan. The beauty of the Pampered Chef pan, as opposed to a metal pan, is I do not have to grease it. If you are using a metal pan, then you definitely want to just put some shortening across your pan so that your biscuits will not stick. However, with the Pampered Chef pan, they don't stick at all. And I just roll them out and pat them into my little pan here. And I tend to turn my bowl as I'm making my biscuits and just kind of pinch from my corners. So I don't know why I do that, but I do. It seems like I do it every time. And I hope we get 12 biscuits out of this one. I might have to go back to the 1 3/4. It's going to be bad if my video is wrong, isn't it? I have to start all over again. I have to take a shower first. But yes, we're going to see if we can squeeze 12 out of it, and hopefully we can. So, now, it is not a perfect science. Sometimes my biscuits are not all the same size. I do not use a cookie cutter, a biscuit cutter. You know, some people will take a cup and they'll roll their dough out on a thing and they'll use the cup to make the size of the biscuit. I don't do that, so mine are not going to be, you know, I want everyone to be different. So yes, so when you eat a biscuit, you'll know it's different, made with love, just for you. So here we go. Are we going to make it to 12? I don't know that we are. So yes, I think we need to go back to the 1.5 cups of the shortening. As I said, these biscuits may not turn out at all. We may have to start the whole process over. So, because we are a little bit short, but we'll see. Because we're going to have a video. We're going to run this video the entire time that they're cooking. You're going to have to listen to me. Just kidding. No, we're not going to do that. So you will actually be able to see the biscuits when they come out. We'll do a second clip. I don't know if my husband can bridge the video. We will see. If not, I will do a still picture if it won't work. So my 12th biscuit is tiny. You do not see this, is why I said they're not all the same size. Tiny, yes, so it's been a long time since I've messed up and not done 12. It's probably the pressure of being videoed. So we're gonna have an itty bitty baby biscuit, but honestly that baby biscuit should be the same size and closer to the rest. So, you know, and your pan should be full. So there, now we have our biscuits. So we want to rinse our hands again, because you don't want to make a mess across the kitchen. There's nothing worse than having a mess in the kitchen. So we're going to wash our hands so that we can put them in the oven. And they cook, it's not a perfect science. I look, you know how long I cook them? Until they look done. So that's about maybe 15 minutes. So we're going to time it just so I can tell you in a little bit how long that actually is. So we're going to put the biscuits into the oven. Alrighty then, and you put it pretty much on. If your lower level is really, really low, don't put it down there. But you don't want it on your highest level. So I only have one level in my oven, and I keep it about middle. So that's about right. Okay, so every oven's different. You'll know with your own oven. All right, so we'll be back in a little bit to see the biscuits.